Good morning. Today is the 8th of October 2023, and it's a Sunday in Turkey. I know tomorrow is a Columbus Day in the United States. It's also named by President Biden, Indigenous Peoples Day, since couple of years. It's a discovery of the America by Christopher Columbus Day. So most markets will be closed tomorrow in US, and stock markets will be closed. But it's only celebrated in the USA. So the Asian and the Turkish markets will be open. So yesterday I made my first video. The Mostly it's followed by my existing 280,000, almost 280,000 followers in Turkish. Uh, I'm one of the most watched economic and investment channel in Turkey. There are some channels with more followers than mine, but daily watch time wise, I'm followed like daily about 100,000 times, let's say, per day. So that's why. Otherwise, there are channels with like 800,000 followers. I'm sort of new. I'm 2, 3 years old in YouTube. So let's get back to the topics. Okay, today I want to make a shorter videos, like at most like 10 minutes, or I may exceed a couple of minutes because I'm a talker. And but first of all, I would like to give some details of what I video this morning for the Turkish broadcasting. Um, the war started. I don't know if it turns out to be a full-fledged war, but the war that started yesterday made some echoes throughout the world. If it's going to be going to wider region, or it's going to be cancelled, let's say, with effort in a short time. I wish it does end shortly without any further casualties. But this is just a wish, of course, and hope. And what's happening is, I want to point out in the topic, of course, it's not good to talk about economic effects of the war, but that's a professional's job. I mean, otherwise, I hate trying to make money, or make people make a lot of money from blood of other people. But I have to make my comments because this is my job. Okay, this is my professional job. I'm an economist, and so I had to make these remarks. So first of all, it reminds us to 1973 Yom Kippur War, which occurred on the same dates, like the same dates 50 years ago. So what happened as that war continued? In the following years, I'll just read it from a comment. What happened in the following 4 years? Uh, it uh, it it caused a lot of, and I use the wordings from Mark Twain. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. So we cannot expect the same to happen, but we can expect that rhythmic actions may happen similar to those times. So I had to make this comment and prepare you for this. So what happened was, in the 60 years ago, exactly 60 years ago, on the same day, 1973, October 6th to October 25. It didn't last too long, about 19 days. And following this war, in the next 7 years, crude oil went from $5 to $50, 10 times increase. 10, that's what's on my cover. 10 times stand for in neon lights. And gold went up from $42 to $875 in the following 7 years. Stocks lost almost 50%, following the 52 weeks, means 1 year from the war, and ended and this ended with and recovered after 7 years, recovered to back to where they started 7 years later. So this was good. Now I can't say good news, but this was taken as an increase for the investments like crude oil and the gold, and it was not happily accepted or by the stock exchanges. So there were big losses. So I just wanted to remark on that first of all. Another news I'd like to give from the daily developments: the price of ammonium. Ammonium is used in uh, fertilizer production. It's a byproduct, or it's a product of natural gas. And ammonium prices this month jumped the highest in the history right now, which means this will increase the prices of food and agricultural products a lot in the future. This also shows us that inflation also rhymes, does not come at the same time to all objects, but it can delay to arrive into, it can come to oil, barrel of oil, then it can go to natural gas, then it can go to ammonium, so it can go to house prices, car prices, food prices. So they don't all come at the same time. Once that money is printed, there is no way to avoid. There is only, you can only delay it. So I can also comment on why does the what makes the price of gold and oil increase during times of war. It's not that these items will not be available. Especially gold is almost never used in industrial production, very small amounts. And so we can talk that about the oil, but gold is not an essential industrial item. Silver, maybe industrial items. About 60% of all the silver used is used in industries like solar panels, some chemical productions as a catalytic catalyzer to bring together, let's say, and so it can be used for these purposes. But gold is not used for any of these purposes. So what makes the gold go early and fast upwards? It's the gold predicts the future among other uh, commodities. What do I mean by predicting the future? As you know, during the disease of cerveraceous disease, gold went up from 1650 to above $2,000 in a couple of months, and even knowing that this was going to bring closings everywhere. So similarly, during war, gold knows, or gold investor knows, that this war will require a lot of money, a lot of expenditures, and you cannot collect taxes because during war, the economic life almost comes to a standstill. So how do you produce that money? You print it. You print it without taxing people, or you tax people through inflation. So they just keep printing money to meet the costs of the war. And in the end, it happens that all this money sent as a aid or directly to these countries causes the devaluation of the currency, which prints a lot. And it, I'm just calling with the common street language. I don't want to talk economist language, and I don't need to talk like Nouriel Rubini, because I want to be understood by just common people, with very small investors with a limited knowledge of the, let's say, economy and investment. So basically, if you, because the technical term is expansion of the monetary base, but in people's language, printing money, a lot of money, okay, unearned money. So that results in the expansion of a lot of money flooding the economy, and which results in uh, inflation. So everything gets expensive. So the current dictionary term of inflation, which changed after 1960s in the dictionaries, they are so powerful because before the Webster dictionary stated that inflation is a result of monetary base expansion, but they changed it. They said inflation is an increase, broad-based increase in the prices of the products and utilities, which is not the reason, which is the end result. If I burn lots of wood, the room will get hot. And now the way they are measuring CPI, Consumer Price Index, they are looking at the thermometer. Oh, it's 100 Fahrenheit. That's not the reason that there is inflation, because you burn a lot of wood in the stove. That's the reason for the inflation, and that's the printed money. So knowing that there is a lot of money to be printed, all prices following this war, larger wars to an extent, will in time, they lag, they don't come the next day. The same is happening in the US. We have calculated when as monetary economists, we calculated that US will face 9% inflation when Fed, I call them birds association. Why? Because they are either dovish or hawkish. It's a birds association of United States. They said that it's transitory. It's going to just stay around 2%, and it's never going to go up. However, at that time, based on the amount of money they printed, we calculated. We said the United States is heading for a 9% inflation, and it did arrive. After a couple of months, US was in 9% inflation. Similarly, because cutting getting back the government bonds and narrowing with the interest rates and narrowing the printed amount of money, let me put it that way, about $1 trillion. They are now squeezing the neck of the economy, and now we have calculated uh, at roughly, we cannot perfect time this, uh, roughly around the first or second quarter of 2024, if not early, United States will be in recession. Okay, and this is strong wording. Yes, I know. In 2 quarters mean 3 months plus 3 months. So let's say until the end of June 2024, we expect the US to go into recession. What is recession? What is soft landing, hard landing? Which you hear that way in the US mostly. It's the how many people will be left jobless. Okay, jobless rate. So if jobless rates increases from above 5%, then it's a hard landing. Okay, how many people will be kicked out of jobs? But they always use words which are garnished words. They don't say how many people lost their jobs, kicked out of their jobs. The Birds Association of the United States and the Labor Statistics Institute, they chocolate cover the poison, and they represent it as people getting benefits of unemployment. So there is no benefit in getting kicked out. So basically, I'm just filling up my 15 minutes, so I don't want to extend this longer. I'm not just doing this for the American or the English speaking countries, but also teaching terms for economic terms for the Turkish people who want to learn more economic terms usage in their future lives, for youngsters especially. Uh, how do I invest in this? I'm not giving investment advice, but I always tell you what I'm making. I'm buying huge amounts of gold. I know the new young generations don't like gold so much, but in US and in Europe, not in China and India, their population is 1.5 billion each. So adding them up is like 3 billion people. And they are getting richer and richer, and not as rich as Europe or US, but their communities are getting richer, and they love gold. And Indonesia and Turkey and all these countries, Turkey is among the first 23 G20 nations, economic wise, how big an economy. It's a 22nd, 23rd, but it's still in G20 countries. So it gives you an idea about the gold. Oil, of course, it's used, and you may say electric cars coming, so reusable energy. But I took her from a report of the U.S. And from a committee. By 2050, which is like 27 years from now, the amount of oil usage does not decrease, it's increasing. And prices may increase more because no new company or no old company wants to invest in new oil fields. This will also create a shortage in oil supplies. So everybody says they need it. They need similar amounts until 2050. I wish it had ended earlier for the environmental reasons, but I'm not the decision making. I just follow what's going on. Okay. Okay. I wish all my followers a happy day, and I will be back from time to time, maybe not every day, with shorter videos. Thank you and bye.